Okay, AP Scholars, we're on question 9, which is a doozy of a question. Number 9 from Unit 9, multiple choice progress check. So I'm not going to go through every single detail of it. I'll just go through the right answer because otherwise this video will get very long. But just to be clear, we have sort of this setup. There's a parent class, a child that extends parent, and a grandchild that extends child. So, if we drew a diagram, we'd have this on top and an arrow pointing to the child, and then from child, an arrow pointing to grandchild. So that's sort of the setup of what's going on. So, which of the following segments, if located in another class, would produce PQRTS? So it turns out the answer is D. And I wanted to go over why, because I think you kind of end up like deciding between D and another answer. So I think if I explain why D works, I think that'll kind of, you know, break the tie, if you will. So notice that grandchild D it's declared as a grandchild object as a variables type, and also we have here, the thing that is inside of here is a grandchild object. So when we say D dot first, what happens? So first is an overridden method. So you can see that we have a first here, and in child we have a first, and in parent we have a first. So there's also a stream of super calls too, right? So first, when you call from grandchild, it also calls super dot first, and this super dot first calls that the next super dot first, which goes all the way up to the beginning, and that even calls second. Wow. So this is going to get for a complicated situation. The most complicated situation is which second is called, right? Second is also an overridden method. So we have a second in parent, we have a second in child, we even have a second in grandchild. So mind-blowing, complicated situation, right? So here's how it works. So when you call D dot first, uh, it's the grandchild first that gets called, which calls super dot first. So that goes up to child's, which calls super dot first, which goes up to parent, which prints a P. So we got the letter P. Then second is called. Which second gets called? It's not this one here. You might be like, oh, well, it's calling second, it's going to go here. But remember, polymorphism is going to come into play because the original object that it's trying to measure polymorphism against is a grandchild object, right? D is a grandchild object. So polymorphism jumps in when you call second. Even if it's called from a superclass, polymorphism jumps in and decides, well, which second should I do? And it chooses grandchild's second. So grandchild's second is going to do super dot second, and then that super dot second is going to revoke in another super dot second, which is going to print out Q. And then once that's done, it prints out R. And then once that's done, it prints out T. And now second is done. So then we come back to first. First is finished. It's all its super stuff. So at the end, it prints the S. So it gives us our P, Q, R, T, S. So P, yeah, that's basically the story. I won't go to. You can rewind it to see that again if you want to figure out. Whoa, what a mind-bending, convoluted little tunnel of complexity that is. So that's why that is the answer. And any other combination, if you follow those rules similarly, you will not get the PQRTS. So that's the story. Okay. Feel free to come and ask me more about that. We can lay it out and draw on the paper, maybe, to figure it out if it's still not making sense. Thanks, AP Scholars.